Hi guys, so I'm back and it's actually the beginning of the month and I'm doing the beginning of the month videos. I'm doing my May wrap up right now, which I can't believe I'm actually getting done, but I had some free time and thought I'd actually get this on in a reasonable time. So actually, I didn't think I'd read a lot for May. I had a lot to do in May. I was working and then I had ASUN in May, so it was like I was kind of busy throughout the all of it. And then also when I wasn't working, I was trying to catch up on TV shows because I just let those just go. Like I would just read or do something else. I wouldn't watch TV. I would try to catch up with a few shows here and there, but I really wasn't like focusing on those as much, and they weren't my priority. So I made them my priority in May, and I got a lot of them watched, and I'm really happy about that. And so finally, summer, his season finale, like it's season finale month pretty much, and all of my shows are just ending, which makes me feel like really good because I can actually catch up with stuff like anime and other TV shows and books and video games and other stuff, and I can actually like sort of relax, not as much, but it makes sense to me. So I actually read 11 books in May. Again, I didn't think I read that much, but I did. I guess I was reading a lot more than I thought I was, and I was good. I'm not going to complain. 11 books is great. I literally thought I only read like 5 or 6, so I'm really happy. Alright, so let's get on to the wrap-up. For the first 3 books that I read in the month of May, well, these weren't the first 3 books, but these are the first 3 books I'm showing you. Wow, I'm having a hard time today. The first 3 books I'm going to show you are my in-death books, of course. I read Treachery in Death, and I read New York to Dallas, and then I also read the novella Chaos in Death. So these, of course, were, I love all of the in-death books. Like, the series just can do no wrong in my eyes. Now, I'm going to say Treachery as well as the novella Chaos in Death got 4 stars. They were good, they just weren't as great. But New York to Dallas was just amazing, and it was everything that I've been, like, kind of waiting for. Like, ever since the beginning of the series, I've just been, like, waiting for this one moment to happen, and it finally happened in this book. And it was good. I was kind of disappointed because I wanted it to go on, but it can't. Like, I'm not going to tell you why, but there's just no way that's going to go on. So it kind of hurt, but I still loved it, and I gave this 5 stars because I'm like, finally? Like, this is just great. And I just loved it. I mean, this is all about, like, the serial killer escapes from jail, and he was put in prison by Eve when she was a rookie. This was like 12 years ago. She found, she accidentally came upon him. Like, she was trying to hunt down this other guy, or this, I think he was a thief. He could have murdered. I can't remember if he was like a thief or if he was a murderer or something like that. But she was trying to hunt down this other criminal, and while hunting that criminal down, she came upon the guy that she put away, and she came upon his apartment, who, like, he had 22 girls in there that he was raping and torturing and stuff like that, and he was going to kill them, but he just hadn't yet. And I mean, she came upon it and she put him away, and then he escaped 12 years later, and now he's hunting her down, but also playing like this game with her, and in doing so takes her to Dallas, where she like kind of began. She was found in Dallas when she was 8 years old. That's like where her start kind of begins. She like blocked out all the memories before she was 8, and before she was like found in an alley. So you have to read the series to like kind of know like her history and everything like that. But he's looked her up and knows sort of what her history is. So he takes her to Dallas. Like, he goes to Dallas and she has to follow him to stop him, and he knows like she's going to do that. So it was just really good, and I really loved it, so I gave that 5 stars. But these were good. Like, these two were good. They just weren't as great. And again, I give them 4 stars. I mean, literally, the series could do no wrong. Like, I haven't given any of these books in the series less than 4 stars. They're either a 4 or 5. I just love them. So, yeah. Those were good. And then, okay. So, really, the first book I was reading in May was A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. This is a reread. I absolutely love this book. I started to tab it halfway through. Like, I have never tabbed any books before, and I know, like, I've seen a lot of people tab them, and I'm just like, kind of looks like fun, and I kind of want to, like, record, like, my favorite moments. It started to be like, I'm just recording everything because this book is amazing, but I didn't start until, like, a little over halfway, which really sucks because I want to go back and tab more. So that means I'm going to have to reread it again, which I don't mind. I love this book. I gave this 5 stars. Again, this is my favorite book in the entire trilogy or series or whatever, but I love this book. It was amazing. 5 stars. Of course, I was reading that in anticipation for A Court of Rings and Ruin. This is the 3rd book in this trilogy. The rest of the series is going to be companion novels. So this is a trilogy, The Court of Thorns and Roses. There are going to be 3 more books. They're just like companion novels to this. This is the end of Feyre and Rhysand's, you know, their series. Like, this is the end of their, I'm losing everything that I just had. This is the end of them. Like, you got to see them grow and develop, and now this is the end of their story. So hopefully they will make more appearances in the other books, but this is the end of their point of view. This book was great. This book pretty much gave me everything I wanted. There was, I guess, a few parts that I was just like, oh, I could have definitely had, like, that could have been better, but I love this book and I give it 5 stars. This was the conclusion. There's an epic war happening. There's all these different characters that we get to meet, and like all these different parts of Prithian that we get to see, and it's just so good. I love this series, like, to death. And again, this series could do no wrong. I love Feyre, I love Rhysand, and I thought at the end of Lady Midnight, or not Lady Midnight, the end of A Court of Mist and Fury, if you read it, you know what that end is. And I thought with that ending, this, like, the beginning of this was just gonna be awful. I was so afraid of how this was gonna go, and usually I hate those kinds of endings, and you're just like, why? Why would you do this? So I go into this, and I'm like, please let this just be good. It was really good. I was just happy throughout this entire book. I was just reading it. I was eating it up. It was so good. And I love all my characters. I even love some of the bad guys. Just gonna throw that out there. I love all my characters. Of course, I love Rhysand more. Rhysand and Feyre are just bae. I love them. They're my OTP. I absolutely love them. And I gave this 5 stars, if I haven't already mentioned that. This was amazing. Okay, so while I was reading those two, as you can tell, these two are just massive. Now, of course, Bloomsbury decided to stop making them, you know, big, like, chunky books, and to start using their thin pages like they did with Empire of Storms. Okay. It's still tall. I still can't carry this around with me. I can't carry this either. So while I was reading those, I was listening to an audiobook, which was Karvall by Stephanie Garber. I was listening to this to and from work whenever I could, and I really liked it. I gave this like a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I didn't think I'd like it as much. I think that the audiobook definitely gave it more. That I just was like, wow. I love the audiobook. I love the narrator. She was just amazing. I think the narrator was Rebecca Soler. But I just loved her. I loved her, like, her voices, her, like, tone of voice while she was reading it. It was just amazing. And I think that's why I gave it a higher rating. I don't know. I'm actually going to reread this in physical copy. The next, like, later on. I think before the second book comes out, I'm just gonna give it a reread. But I really loved it. Scarlet was annoying me through almost the whole book. But I was allowing that to just slide because the writing was amazing. Like, it was just so beautiful and vivid. And, like, there's all these different colors and, like, magic, and just, it was so beautiful. Okay, so I'm gonna try to explain this book because it's not easy. Alright, so Karvall is... Okay, so in the beginning of Karvall, you meet Scarlet and Tessa, who are sisters, and they live on the Isle of Trisda, and they want to get away. They don't want to be there anymore. Their father's abusive. They want to get away from him. He's also, like, you know, possessive, and he won't let them leave, you know. He abuses them and he won't let them leave, and he's very strict. So Scarlet is about to be married to a man she's never met, and she's actually really, you know, like, excited for it because she knows, like, she can get away from her father, and then she'll be able to take Tessa with her. So that's all she wants. But she's never met him. So, you know, you're like, wait a minute, you're gonna marry a guy you've never met. Like, she's never met him, she's only gotten letters from him, and he's a sweetheart in the letters, but again, you don't know that. You don't know that for sure. And Tessa doesn't want her to get married because she knows, like, you don't know if this guy is really who he says he is. And he was chosen by her father. It's an arranged marriage. So, your dad, who is just straight awful, chose this guy for you, and you don't think he's going to be awful too? Okay, so I'm going to stop talking about the beginning. But Scarlet has been writing to the Master of Karvall for years, and she's been really wanting to see Karvall, and she finally gets an invitation for her and her sister, and yeah, for her and her sister. So they meet a boy named Julian, and Julian takes them to the other isle where Karvall is, so they have to escape Trisda and her father. Like, they have to run away and get there. So Julian takes them to the isle where Karvall is being held, and Tessa's kidnapped. And Karvall is like this game where you play, you have a really good time, you know, you play for a prize, which for this one is a wish. Any wish. I'm not explaining this really well. Really, guys, you should just look this synopsis up because I suck at this. So, it's a game she has to play. Oh, my bad. I keep calling her Tessa. It's Tella. That's right, it's Donatella. I don't know why I keep calling her Tessa. It's Tella. My bad. So, she has to play this game, which she really wasn't thinking of playing. And she definitely has to play this game so she can get Tella back. And she can find her and, you know, save her, rescue her, whatever. But she has to play along with Julian. They team up, so to make it easier, because Julian has played before. Along the way, like, really, when you start to play the game, they tell you, don't get caught up in, like, what's happening. Just, like, don't believe anything that's going on, because it's all just a game. So don't, like, you know. It's really, and of course, you know, Scarlet, the whole thing is just like, oh my god, like, this is happening, like, people die, and she's like, oh my god, and it's like, it's a game. Just that's really why Scarlet's been, like, annoying me. She's just not able to just relax. And I am sort of like that. Like, I'm paranoid at times, and I can be, like, really tense at times, but it's like, the nature of this game is to just relax and to play the game. That's it. And then at the end of the game, if you can solve the game, if you can win it, you will get Tella back. Okay. But through the whole time, Scarlet was just like, she was sort of annoying me, and it was just like, oh my god. And then Tella sometimes annoyed me, like, in the beginning and towards the end as well. So there were parts of it where I was just like, okay, I'm gonna just, what? And then, like, there were also parts where I was just like, this is really good, this is really beautiful, and I'm really liking it. Scarlet got better towards the end, and then, like, of course you get the plot twist at the end, and they were really good. And now I'm, like, actually really anticipating the second one, because I really want to know what's going on. And hopefully Scarlet will be better, because at the end of this you think, okay, now for the next one, you're gonna be better at this one. But yeah, it was just really good, and I give it 4 out of 5 stars. Definitely look up some synopsis, because I'm awful at synopsis, and synopses, whatever. But yeah, I mean, definitely look it up. Definitely read it. There is a lot of mixed reviews out there. I personally enjoyed it. That's my opinion. I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 to 4.5 4 to 4.25 out of 5 stars. Okay, so also, while listening to that, I was also reading on my phone, because again, I couldn't carry those 2 books, and I was only listening to that one. So while I was on break at work, I was reading Stolen Songbird by Danielle L. Jensen. This is a book that's on my top 17 of 2017, because I replaced it with something. If you want to know more about that, you should go and watch my replacement videos for my 2017 list. I liked it. I think I gave this 4 stars as well. So for this one, it's all about this girl named, I can't think of her name at the moment, Cecile. She is about to leave her small town to go to the city to be with her mom so she can sing and be happy. But before she can get to the city, she gets kidnapped and taken to Trollus, which is the city of trolls. And she is being forced to marry the prince of trolls, the troll prince, which she doesn't want to do at all. And the only reason why she is being forced to marry him is because they think she'll, like, once they get married, it'll break the curse that's on them, which is just, they're trapped under this mountain, and it's, you know, a curse put on them by a witch, like so many centuries or whatever ago, and it just doesn't happen. They get married, nothing happens. So now she has to live in Trollus, married to this prince, and deal with, like, court politics, and, like, you know, she's a human in a troll city, and these trolls really don't like humans. So she just, you know, has to survive, and also, you know, deal with, like, court politics and stuff like that. So it was actually really good. The only reason I read it on my Kindle and not in physical copy is because my physical copy is kind of messed up. It's slanted at some parts, and I just really don't like that. Of course, I can't find them. Like, if you think about it, you can sort of see it. You can sort of see it. Like, it gets kind of cut off, and parts of it are just, like, slanted. Of course, you know, you can't really tell from here, and you probably all, you know, like, even if you saw it, you probably wouldn't care much, but I do. Of course, I looked at my other copies of the sequel, Hidden Huntress, and Warrior Witch, and those are fine. I don't know if you can tell if this is slanted. No, you probably can't tell. And again, it's not even that big of a deal. Like, I could have lived with it. It's just every time I see it, I don't know. I just get this, like, feeling. And I hate that. So I was just like, okay, I'll read it on my Kindle, because I found out I actually bought the Kindle book, I think, before I bought the physical copy. And I forgot all about it. So I'm really happy that I got the Kindle copy, and I was just able to read it on my phone. I gave it 4 stars. It was actually really good. I like Cecile. I like the prince, Tristan. And there's actually a lot of characters I really liked in the book. And hopefully the sequel will just continue to be really good. I know there's a prequel coming, or is out. I've heard of that. And I know it has to do with this one character. I want to say his name is Marcus, but I could be totally wrong. It's either like Mark or Marcus. It's not Martin. It's not Martin. Shoot. Of course, he's in this whole book, and every time I flip to a page, I can't find him. Oh my god, like, what? Where is he? Oh my god. Okay, well, it's either Mark or Marcus, but oh, Mark. Okay, it's Mark. I know that there's a prequel that has to do with him and his backstory. You get like like he tells you a little bit about it in this book, but I think you actually get to like see it happening. Not like see it, but read it while it's happening in the prequel. So that'd be kind of nice. I kind of want to get that now. So, all right, 4 more books. Shouldn't take that long, I hope. I know this is already a 20-minute video. I'm really sorry about this. This is probably going to be a 30-minute video. These wrap-ups never go fast, even when I only have a few books to read. Or to talk about. I can't talk. Having a hard time. Okay, so the other book I read was Maid Sama. I read this manga during the month because the final one is coming out in August, so I'm trying to read 1 a month, because I actually have enough copies to read 1 a month before that one comes out. So I read this one in May, I have another one to read in June, and then there's one I have to get that came out in May, so I have to get that and read that in July, and then the final book comes out in August. So, yeah. I'm really excited. This one was pretty good. You get to see a little bit more of Usui's family. Of course, it's funny. There were moments where I was a little upset because Usui kind of grew distant. And I can't remember exactly, like, if he was, I think he was doing that to protect her or something like that. But it was like, oh, I don't want that. Like, stop. Just go back to normal. Like, just go back to normal, please. That's all I want. And I think there's actually a couple, like, hold on. I think there's, like, a couple, like, little, like, short, like, bonus stories. There was The President is a Butler and Hello, I'm the Little Sister or something like that. And that was kind of nice. Like, you get, like, 4 stories in one. You get a couple bonus stories plus the main 2 stories. And I just really love it. I love the artwork so much. It's just so beautiful. And I love the stories, and I love the characters, and I love the humor, I love everything about this, and I cannot wait to finish it so then I can watch the anime, and then, yeah, it's just, like, I don't want it to be over, but I also want to finish it so I can watch the anime, because the only reason I'm not watching the anime is because I'm afraid that because some animes, what they'll do is they'll give you, like, half of what, like, the manga really is. They won't, like, continue, like, to all of the manga, which kind of hurts because you're just like, why are you ending it here? Like, where you could totally keep going and, like, finish it, like the manga is finished, but they won't do that. So I'm afraid that that's what what that anime is going to be like, or this anime. So I want to read the whole manga and then watch the anime, just in case they actually do finish it like the manga is doing. Or like the manga, and because this is reprinted, the series is actually complete. This is just being reprinted. So if they finish it like they did the manga, then I get spoiled and I can't have that. So I'm gonna wait till I finish the manga and then I will watch the anime. But I'm loving it. 5 out of 5 stars. Or yeah, 5 out of 5 stars. It's just amazing. I love it. All right. The other book I read was The Wicked Will Rise by Daniel Page. This is the sequel to Dorothy Must Die. This one is, like, really short. It was a good sequel. I liked it. I didn't love it. I think I gave this 4 stars. 3 or 4 stars. I can't remember. Of course, I didn't look any of this up before doing this video. It could have been 3.5 to 4 stars. I can't remember. I mean, it was good. There were moments in here that I was like, okay. I'm definitely going to read the 3rd book, but I'm just like, right now, I'm just like, okay. And then there was more of, like, Glinda in this one, and I hate Glinda. I just hate her. In this, of course, she's the good witch in the movie, but in here, she's not. Oh, she's not. Oh, she's so evil. And I blame her for everything that's happening. Yeah. It's really funny. I was watching Emerald City, which was the Wizard of Oz, like, TV adaptation. They did, I think it was ABC or NBC, I can't remember at the moment. They canceled it, of course. But while I was watching, I didn't finish the season because I found out they canceled it, so I just decided to forget it. But as I was watching it, I was like, who is this character? Who is this character? And then reading this, I'm like, oh, those are the characters in that. Okay. Like, there was this character, Tip, and Tip was a boy, and then Tip was a girl, and you're like, oh, you were given this, like, potion to keep you a boy, or this medicine to keep you a boy. Okay. Why? And then you find out why. Tip is Ozma. Okay. Tip is the fairy princess Ozma. She was being kept as a boy, so her power would just, and so nobody would be, because nobody's going to be looking for a little boy. Everyone's going to be looking for a girl. So now I actually get it. And I was like, hey. While reading this, I got this light bulb, and I was just like, oh. And then the witch was Mombi from here. And I'm like, oh, I get it now. Thank you. I think that was, like, the best moment. And I think I gave that, like, I can't remember exactly, 3 out of 5 to 4 stars. Somewhere around there. It was good. It was a decent sequel. I actually want to really know how it ends. I want to see what happens with Amy and Dorothy and Glinda and all the rest of them. So yeah, I mean, there really wasn't that much that happened. And I don't really want to tell you what happened because this is a sequel. And it would, like, totally ruin the first book. So, I mean, her main job is to kill Dorothy. And just not going how she's planning right now. But hopefully she gets there and Dorothy dies because I hate her. And I hope she kills Glinda along the way too because I really hate her too. Okay, the last 2 books. I swear this is the last 2. Alright, so I really needed to get to these books. And of course I read them the very final days of May because I'm like, I need to read them. And if I don't read them in May, it's like, I know I can read them in June, but I really wanted to get them done in May because I just needed to. The first one being The Hammer of Thor, Magnus Chasing the Gods of Asgard, Book 2. This is by Rick Riordan. This is his Norse mythology series. This was good. I gave it 4 stars. It's not my favorite series. I don't know what it is. All of his other series, I'm just, like, eating up. I'm loving. This one, I kind of feel like I'm dragging at certain points. It's still good. It's still, like, Rick Riordan's humor and mythology and everything. I think it's more like, I don't know the Pantheon as much as I do all the other ones. And the Pantheon is just not, like all the Norse gods. Like, I know Thor. I know Odin. I know some of them. Like Loki and stuff like that, but I don't really know all of them. I didn't really study Norse mythology as much. I know there was the 9 worlds and stuff like that, and it's not just because I've seen Thor. Yeah. I love to study mythology, even, like way back then. I love the mythology, but my favorites were always Greek and Egyptian. Norse was always, like, the one, if I was done with Greek and Egyptian, I really didn't want to study those, or, like, I would go to Norse, and I would, like, okay, so what's, like, what are the gods there, and what are they, it's just, I think, I just really didn't like Thor. I didn't really like any of the gods. I think, I just, like, if I'm being real, I didn't love the gods in this. I didn't really care about any god in particular. I think the characters otherwise were good, and of course I love Magnus and Annabeth, the chases. And I think in the 3rd book, Magnus is going to meet Percy, and they're all going to get together, and it's just going to be fantastic, because that's what I want. I really want that. But it's like, and the runes are cool, and I love Hearthstone? I call him Hearthstone. So that's, yeah, Hearth, and, shoot, what's his name? Why can't I remember his name now? Blitzen? Okay, Hearth and Blitzen are just fantastic. I love them. Hearthstone is an elf, and Blitzen is a dwarf, and they're best friends, and it's just perfect. Oh my god, it's so good. And then you get a little bit more backstory into Hearth, which I love. And then, I mean, you get to meet a new character, which is, like, her name is Sam. Well, his, doesn't really matter. It depends on the, depends on the day and what what Alex is. The name is Alex Ferrero. Child of Loki. Wow, it's hard. he or she is gender fluid, so she could be, you know, a girl, and then she could be a boy. It just depends on, you know, the day and what she is, or he, or whatever. This is the hard one. I also really love Sam and Amir, and there's like all these characters I really loved. But it's, yeah, I think it's the gods. Like in all the other books, I love the gods. I think they're just fantastic. And in this one, it was just like, okay. Okay. Like, no. Like, no, this isn't right. So, yeah. Yeah. Alright, so, yeah, I gave this 4 stars. Everything but the gods are great. And then, of course, right after that, I read The Dark Prophecy, The Trials of Apollo, Book 2, also by Rick Riordan. This is the sequel to his other series that he's writing, or that he's, that he's writing. He's writing these 2 a year. So, this would be my favorite. This I gave 5 stars. I absolutely love Apollo. He is one of, you know, he's a Greek god, and he's freaking funny as all hell. He's amazing, and yeah, he can get a little dense at times and a little stupid, but you know what? That's his humor, and it works for him so well. This is just fantastic. I absolutely loved it. And it just follows Apollo, who's a human now because his father, Zeus, decided to, you know, Apollo did something bad in the Heroes of Olympus series. Well, he didn't really do something bad, but he did something to anger Zeus. So Zeus cast him out and made him mortal, which happens every once in a while for Apollo. This isn't his first time. But of course, Apollo is a 16-year-old pubescent boy. He's got acne all over. He looks awful. And he's being hunted down. So that's pretty good. And he meets up with Percy and them and some other characters that we know in the series, and it's just so fantastic. And there's some, you know, there's what's it called? The oracles that he has to find, and I absolutely loved it. I loved it. I give this 5 stars. This is my favorite out of these 2 books. This is definitely, I want to say maybe the Trials of Apollo series is going to be my favorite series by Rick Riordan. Even though the King Chronicles and Percy Jackson and Heroes of Olympus are all fantastic. But I think I really love Apollo. I just really love Apollo. And I love his, like, you get a lot of his backstory in each. Like, because Apollo's lived for millennia, and you just get to see, like, hints and stuff, like, here and there, like, about his life at certain times, and, like, how he's connected to certain people, and it's just so good. Yeah, 5 stars, guys. This was fantastic. I absolutely love this suit. Okay. That was all the books that I read. I can't believe I just made a 33-minute video. I'm so sorry, guys, but when I talk about books that, you know, I love, that I just keep talking and I can't stop. So that is all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you've read any of the books that I've read, let me know down below how you like them. Yeah. So thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Happy reading.